Welcome to Georgia. So today I want to take you with me to what I would say really is one of the most underrated countries in the world. From the capital city of Tbilisi to the beaches to the mountains, it's a special place. And generally on the channel I talk about building a life of freedom around the world. More adventure, more opportunity, and more freedom. And I gotta tell you, this country is quite special. It's not a big place, you can travel it within a couple of weeks, but if you want to see the type of life that you can be living there, a bit nomad style, I want to take you along. I'm going to be meeting some people. I'm even going to fly my mom out to join me for a couple of days. A special video, a special place, the full Georgia experience. So I would say let's hop into Georgia in just a minute. So you see, if you're traveling, there's a couple of things you obviously have to have on you. Your visa, your passport, the essentials. And for me, one of those essentials is a good VPN. This is where today's video partner, PIA, Private Internet Access, comes in. So if you don't know, a VPN is a virtual private network for short, and what it does is it hides your IP address and protects you by encrypting your data. So you kind of can travel with it virtually around the world. You change your location for wherever you are, to Europe, to the US, to Asia. And for me, the best thing about it is just how easy it is to use. You set up the app on your phone or your laptop, unlimited devices, and with one tap of a finger, you choose your location and you are connected. And for me, it's much more than just staying safe. The thing is, you can save a lot of money with it. Whenever I book a hotel or flights, I switch my locations around a little bit. And what I often notice is sometimes the price becomes a bit different. Also, if you like to watch yourself a little movie on Netflix or other streaming providers, if you change your location, for example, to Canada, what you might notice is that the catalog all of a sudden is much larger. And as of right now, PIA is offering a special deal with my link down below. You can get 83% off in another 4 months on top. So wherever I go, for me an absolute travel essential, a good VPN, PIA, first link in the description. Guys, this is Georgia. We are in Georgia. Guys, this is a country that I've wanted to visit for many years. I have literally just arrived yesterday in the evening at, let's say, night hours. I haven't seen anything of the city yet, other than what I see here from the beautiful balcony, and I think this is going to be a really interesting one. It's going to be a video series of a couple of videos. We're going to talk about Georgia from a perspective of traveling here, of maybe having it as a bit of a base to spend a couple of weeks or months, maybe even for some people, like, you know, making it a permanent base. I think it's really interesting, probably in terms of the cost, in terms of everything else, but we are about to find that out today. So nice and sunny. The old town is somewhere there. A taxi should roll up any moment. Later I'm also going to show you where I'm staying, and I think towards the end of the video we're going to head into the mountains, because I think that is what Georgia is a lot about, the nature here. It's not a big country, but I think we're gonna like it. So first impression, join me. Okay guys, we just got out of the car. My mission is always, when I come to a new country, I want to make sure to have the camera with me when I'm heading into the city. I have absolutely, let's say, not seen really anything yet, so we're fairly central. Slowly we're going to be walking into the old town where I'm staying, is actually close by. But yeah, hitting the streets, to me, first of all, Tbilisi, capital city. On the one side they have their own local language with their own actually writing, so I don't understand anything, but a lot, maybe even to some extent you can say, most people, especially let's say the older generation, speaks Russian, so you hear a lot of Russian on the street, which I happen to speak quite all right. Yeah. And I just want to take you along a little bit on a
yeah, first feeling of how this city is. For me, it was always very interesting. Georgia is on one side easy to come to with the visa requirements. Most people with most passports, especially like European, Western passports, can stay here for 1 year completely visa free. So there's also, yeah, a lot of people from a perspective of, let's say, remote living coming here. Some people are... So just got my hands on some local lari. That is the 100. That is the 10. That's 20 here, so that is the local mula, dinero. Now we can partake in the economical activities of this fine lands. As I'm just walking through the streets, these like little markets. Reminds me a bit of Ukraine, but still with its own flavor. Seriously. Oh, look at that. There's some hot Georgian, very cute Georgian chicks. Oopsie. Look at that, guys. These little ducks, I think. Or chicks. And right now, that's where we're walking around, and I'm like yelling in English on the street, but still, I guess they recognize me for one of theirs, which is nice. Lots of shisha on the street. Just marked it on a map, might be back. And Old Town, I think, stretches really far, because I'm gonna walk right now for pretty much half an hour to the famous bridge, to the famous site. So here we are approaching one of, let's say, the iconic symbols of the city, the Bridge of Peace. A really interesting structure over the lake. So the lake is kind of like rounding up the city in a way. I'm seeing the old town in the back here. The place truly looks yeah, quite magical, but still like a nice, super interesting mix of historical and modern. So let's get up here. This is pretty much how I hope Tbilisi would be. It does have this like touch of like, it feels like a fairy tale city with so many historical buildings, yet they also have a couple of nice, very modern skyscrapers. The city so far very clean, and I'm definitely lucky with the weather today as well. And yeah, here we are on the Bridge of Peace.
But for now, that was really important for me. I came here for the mountains, I came here for the wine, for the hinkali, the food. And I would say there's only one right way to do it. To go into the mountains, visit a local family, one of the nicest, let's say, chateau guest houses I've ever stayed, the view there. Let me take you along into, let's say, the mountains of Georgia, a couple of hours of drive away from here. Well guys, I don't drink wine too often, but when I do, I have to tell you. So we are right now in Georgia, we're in the mountains. Probably this is the reason why I wanted to visit this country in the first place. So around like an hour drive from Batumi, a couple hours of drive from Tbilisi. I have to tell you, a couple days into Georgia, this is one of my favorite places in terms of this setting, probably of all time. So Chateau, Iveri, it's kind of like a nice, let's say, kind of like really cool guest house. We're in the mountains, we're seeing nature, and I think for today, a little bit in this part of the video, I want to take you along a little bit on the experience. We're gonna try some real local Georgian food. So the thing that really caught me about this place is that they do everything locally and organically. So within the community, they get all the different meats, all the different ingredients. They're doing their own wine on site, and I would say, actually, let's get it. As I said, not drinking wine often, maybe a couple of times a year. This is some of the best I've ever had.
So guys, basically I have been outed here that I speak Russian, so now we're speaking Russian with the staff, but you know, it's a good opportunity for me to practice as well with somebody else other than my mom. So that is received. The Georgian chicken, it's still like bubbling up there, amazing. So basically I would say this is very hot, don't touch it.
Okay guys, I would say let's start eating. I'm super hungry, only had breakfast today. So the first dish, I forgot how it's called. Chicken, how's the chicken dish called?
Shkmeruli.
Shkmeruli. So shkmeruli, Georgian chicken in some cream sauce. The moment they brought it, it was still kind of like broiling in there. So I have a little chicken leg, meat heavy. The Georgian
salad. I've tried it in a local restaurant in Batumi. At first I was resisting. I was like, nah, I'm usually not really a fan of salads in this area. Too heavy. It's with walnut, tomatoes, cucumbers. I have to tell you, it's actually really, really good. So I'm super excited to try. So I'm gonna be digging into the meat here. Well, the moment has come. This is what this country is famous for. The Georgian hinkali. This is super homemade. I have been advised there's a certain way to eat them. So I've been educated about my absolute ignorance when it comes to this. So you don't cut them open, you don't do nothing. You grab them by the top here. And then... Okay. Alright. We will see each other tomorrow morning.
So with that, join me on Tbilisi, Georgia.
So guys, we are entering the old town right now. Gonna go for a nice little walk. So basically here, when you get into the city, you right away notice this is the core of it. There's a good amount of people over there. And the special guest of today's video is my mama over here. So probably first time on the channel. The funny story is she has been in Georgia. В каком году ты была здесь?
1990.
In 1990. My mom has been here pretty much on like her honeymoon, something like that. So taking her back a good 30 years later, just came in last night. So we're gonna go for a proper walk right now. So you see the, how is it called? Basically these like little capsules are flying across the city up to the fortress. We're definitely gonna do that, but first things first, that is the only thing that my mom could recognize is the monastery on the rock standing there. Let's head over there, let's see what it's all about. So the old town is gonna be the first stop for today, but I think it's gonna be a long video. My goal is to really cover it all, take my mom to all the places, try some local food. So came out here to the viewpoint. I've just looked up, the church has been finished in 1270 something in the way that it's standing here right now. So just been talking about Georgia has a history of like thousands of years. So this church in itself, something has been here for over 1,000 years. This in particular is like 700 something. And I would say the view that you're getting from here is truly something, and we're considering to take this car up all the way there. I think that is the plan for right now. But yeah, no entrance, no nothing. You can just walk around, enjoy the city from all sides. And back there you're kind of seeing modern Tbilisi. I think that is on the list for the next couple of days as well. A super nice view of all of Tbilisi. The balloon is going up. Actually, we'll check on that later. And I think yeah, actually pretty chill vibe. The city looking from up here is impressing in the sense that it almost looks like a little bit of an attraction park, in the sense that you have this balloon, you have the whole square down there. Everything is so neatly maintained, which I find actually quite impressive. In this region, probably the most kind of like neat city I've seen yet. So basically, looks like my mom is buying something. My dad was asking. It's funny, she has been here 30 years ago she has been here with my dad. I actually wasn't even aware of that when I told her to come out. But yeah, inside Orthodox church, the tradition is to put up the candles in that way. You buy them for a donation. The main square here, so this is probably the most, let's say, touristy area of Tbilisi here. This bus that says free wine, free water, free guide. But when it comes to the free water, actually Georgia is probably one of those places where it's probably decently safe to, on the one side, drink out of the tap, but even more, usually I don't recommend, on the streets. People are pretty much, I just saw a girl coming with her water boiler. Funny, so let's try. So Like from the bottle. Как это? С бутылки минеральной. So guys, let's check the gondola, how much it is, how it works. Два, пожалуйста. Два билета. So guys, we got a card. It's 666 lari for one way, one person. So it's like $3, $2.50. Not bad. So we'll see who is going to be our friends on this gondola. It looks like there's like 6 people in each. Made it inside. So just so it's going to be 1 minute, 42 seconds, the whole drive. So arrived at the top, Narikala Fortress. I would say definitely worth it. For 6 lari you get like a super nice view of the whole city up here. Wow. Как тебе? She said it's good.
Мы с Украины.
Украина, слава Богу.
Ну вообще круто. We are approaching the fortress on the top, so the one we saw from when we were at the church. Overall, I have to say, like, really nice vibe in the city. I would say maybe like half of the people are foreign, obviously in the more touristy areas, but generally pretty nice and peaceful walk, especially the view. I have to tell you, I just keep saying how it's probably one of the most unique, let's say, city structures that I've ever seen, and they've done like a really good job here, especially on the ground with the different like arches, the new bridge. What is going on here on the back side? Let's see. So somebody built a huge villa, some big G over there, but other than that, just green. And so hiked up all the way to the fortress. Actually, yeah, just bought a one way for the gondola. I think that's the way to go, because kind of like when you arrive with the gondola, you walk back halfway more or less to get to the fortress. And yeah, just saw it's from the 4th century, so like over 1,500 years old. Something Persians, Arab emirs been around here over the last couple thousands of years, and yeah, still going strong here, this fortress. I would say let's go back down. Let's see what else we can find. And so going down basically little roads, in some ways reminds me a little bit of Turkey in a way, some of the houses, but yeah, you can definitely walk up one way and then come down with the gondola, or how we did it today. But yeah, super nice neighborhood. I see they also have some hotels. What is this? Hostel and tours. Very nice neighborhood. So we saw a different church in the distance. Mom was like, hey, what is that? Let's check that out. And we walked into a very, let's say, I would say local, authentic neighborhood. Not nearly as touristy. People are going about their daily business. Well, let's see. I think it's the largest church here in the city. At least from the looks of it from the top, pretty sure. So, okay guys, what a place. Wow, this must be the largest church property I've ever seen in my life. So you're coming in through the columns. Looks really impressive. I would highly guess this must be the largest church in Tbilisi. Just generally the whole property looks really cool. You see it from the mountain everywhere. I've been around the city side. So it was Mom's idea to pass by, and I'm quite happy about it. So it's the Holy Trinity Church itself. On our way out from the church, I think we're gonna head to the hotel right now. We're gonna get a little wine, enjoy the view with a mama. But first, we're going in local here a little bit. So a Georgian store selling all kinds of like different buns. We're gonna get a chicken later. Definitely go to your restaurants on the menu as well. But here's some local sweets. Remind me a lot of the life in Turkey. Probably, let's say, somewhat connected. I mean, Turkey is very close, but gonna get yeah. Gonna get 4 of these. So got back from the city center to the hotel I'm staying right now. So this is the Folk Hotel, kind of like 15-minute walk from the old town. Super nice and peaceful, but the place itself is really interesting. I think I've showed it in the previous videos. It's kind of like an interesting boutique, unique design. They showcase some of the local Georgian, let's say, traditional costumes. But yeah, what you have just seen, maybe I'll show you tomorrow morning a bit more. What you have just seen at the market is us buying the local traditional churchella. Not sure how we're gonna call it, but basically it's kind of like nuts inside, walnuts, and you put, I'm not exactly sure how they make it, but it's some type of different fruit juices, grape juices, and it's kind of like a nut candy. So super cool, bought it from local people. And yeah, as of right now, sun is gonna be setting, gonna be heading out to... So back in the city center, gonna just explore a little bit more. We're heading to the balloon as well once the sun is gonna be setting properly. So yeah, basically in the city center, many little side roads with restaurants. Really so many different restaurants. Few cities you see that density. But I would say for the last stop during the daytime, kept seeing this balloon all around the city and thought, hey, why not get on it? It's like 100 Georgian lari, is like 30 bucks, a little bit more. And yeah, should be our turn soon. Going up here. Basically you go up for like 5 minutes, stay on top for a bit, and then you slowly head down. You have to make sure you stand on the right side, kind of like of the platform, so it's not that shaky. It's actually quite nice. Gives you a bit of a buzz. It's like slightly shaky, but I think it's super safe. You see everything around us. But yeah, amazing view, especially at this time of the day. It's pretty much 7 p.m. Sun is slowly setting, and yeah. Mom is also behind another camera. All about that content. Okay guys, starting the next morning, we're gonna be going somewhere very different today. So I checked 40-minute drive on the car, or we can take the subway. But the subway, you have to walk there a little bit. So started a beautiful morning here at the Folk Boutique Hotel. I've showed it in the previous videos, but seriously, I absolutely love the creativity of this space. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a taxi to the metro station with about like a 20-minute walk, and then we're gonna drive all across the city to, I would say, probably a really interesting place. Afterwards, probably hit up some cafes, hit up some other neighborhoods. But yeah, as I said, it was gonna be a tour of the whole city, and that's exactly what it's gonna be. So in the morning, had some really nice breakfast here. They have a lot of different options, some local Georgian stuff, but also a lot of, let's say, just like basics to get a good breakfast. Wait for the lobby, guys. The lobby here, you got some traditional Georgian costumes. Just walking through it always, it's almost like you could put like a little Iron Man costume, but the Georgian ones, I would say, are even better in some way. So let's see, the taxi should be here any moment. Смотри, как по-местному. down the Georgian Tbilisi subway. Funny story is this card is the same card as from the gondola from yesterday. Mom was adamant about giving it back to the gondola place, and they said you can use it for public transport. She was like, we don't need that. Here we are, bought a new one. Keep the card if you have it from the gondola. So basically it's just like 1 lari, which is like 30 cents. Always kind of cool to check out the local subway. This in a way looks like Kiev, probably even a bit older. You go down a real deep. Okay guys, we are heading to some type of monument on a hill overlooking a lake. For that, it's like either 30-40 minute taxi or go into a local neighborhood with the subway. Oh, there's pig legs. And see a little bit the real Georgia as well. We're going to be moving to the modern district tomorrow. So let's see. So, have finally arrived, guys. Just as a heads up, with the metro you still have to take a car because it's basically a highway. We're like properly on the outskirts of Tbilisi, and what we're looking at in the back is a place that is called the Chronicles of Georgia. So it's a monument they just erected like 1985, I think. It says it's dedicated to the 30,000th anniversary of Georgian statehood, 2000th anniversary of Christianity dissemination. Also says it in Russian and the Georgian language, but always looks pretty cool. So basically I'm gonna go up any moment, just this walk there. Wandering up the stairs, it's actually not too high. On the pictures you're seeing looks even a bit more, but basically we're seeing the whole city in the back, and from what I saw on the map I think we're gonna see a lake any moment. But yeah, what a structure. So walking in truly a massive structure. So basically it looks like it tells in some ways the history of the country over like a couple of thousand years. A lot of Christian elements in it. Yeah, when you walk in, seriously, wow. Almost reminds me, probably somewhat inspired by like the Egyptian columns. Yeah, that's truly something inside of here. Здесь так походить. So, we arrived. In a different part of town, some kind of old town. This place is called Fabrika. Let's find out what it is. Seems like it's some type of co-working cafe on somebody's recommendation. Sure, they have coffee. Pretty interesting. Пойдем, смотрим. Okay, понятно. So basically I think the outside area mostly is what it is about here, kind of like different cafes on the side of it. You sit outside, have this huge disco ball, pretty cool. Very much of like, let's say, a bit of a alternative vibe, but certainly a unique place. So from what I understand, they transformed like an old Soviet era building, factory, I think. Fabrika means factory, so let's see, maybe coffee. Okay guys, so sitting down, having a little cappuccino, not too bad, little Georgian local beer. And while I was sitting here, I was like, okay, so it's like a post-Soviet Union factory that they transformed into this co-working. And then I thought behind me, I thought this is part of furniture stand, like kind of like part of decoration, an old truck, but it's actually doing its job here. So yeah, pretty nice. Kind of like a couple of restaurants. The pizza back there looks pretty good. Personally, I probably enjoy the more authentic corners, but nice, colorful, kind of like a bit of an alternative vibe. A cool place. Fabrica. So as of right now, really the mission a little bit is to see all the different corners of Tbilisi towards sunset, walking around Antonelli Street. Gonna pass through the Freedom Square back to the Old Town. So yeah, here's kind of like a flower market. I have to tell you, Tbilisi so far is one of the most, let's say, dense cities in terms of different different neighborhoods, different vibes. Just a couple of minutes ago, we have been literally in nature, overlooking huge lakes and mountains. Now, a bit more modern, I would say. Kind of like a nice mix. A classic post-Soviet walk underground. Hinkali.
Я не понимаю, не verstehen.
So that over there is the Freedom Square, and I have to say this is the first time in Tbilisi where I feel like a proper like big city energy. Got like a Burberry store on this side, the people, the energy, fast-paced. I like it. After a bit of a walk, well, seriously, the Old Town seems to be spanning for hours and hours. You can be walking around here. This place is called the Gudashvili Square. And yeah, I think Tbilisi is doing one of the best jobs in restoring a lot of old neighborhoods, but not like in a super over-the-top way. Very tastefully coloring the buildings. Some are still in progress, but yeah, it's kind of like a nice, chill little square. Good morning, welcome back to Tbilisi, Georgia. Guys, this neighborhood I want to show you around today. I have to tell you, I arrived here yesterday and it's super interesting. As you know, a big part of the channel is also showing you some nice places to stay, and the hotel we're in front of, the 2-axis tower, and with that the Pullman Hotel, is not only the tallest tower in all of Tbilisi. They have some type of like tallest a rooftop bar, but especially the neighborhood actually really surprised me. I've seen a lot of Tbilisi in the last couple of videos, the Old Town, and then I'm arriving here and I'm like, hey, I could maybe even imagine living here. So today I want to give you a little bit of a tour of the 2-axis tower, the Pullman Hotel. This is the area of Vake, and I would say a good way to describe it is kind of like a good mix of new modern developments, yet you see the neighborhood has been around for a while. So it's fairly international, really kind of nice and fashionable. The people that walk around here, the cafes that are open, really seems quite livable. But for now, guys, look at this. This is truly something. So you have these 2 towers. They're kind of like at an axis where if you look at a certain perspective, even when you walk around the building, you feel it. Let me take you inside. Right now is the morning. I think we're gonna go to breakfast shortly out after, but to give you a full proper tour, let's go in. So you see, the thing is, like, if it's like a big resort, if it's a big hotel, of course it's gonna be impressive, of course it's gonna be nice. But for a city hotel, I think it's not that easy to really kind of blow you away. The moment you walk into the lobby, first of all, there's artworks on all sides. It's a fairly roomy lobby. Back there you have like a seating area, well, some type of fossil. I mean, it looks definitely very interesting. And the other thing that I right away liked about the hotel is kind of like the anonymity. You just pass through, the elevators are on the side, and you are on your way. On the 22nd floor, we are currently residing. Let me take you in. Ooh. Oh yes. Okay. I think you're getting the idea. Guys, I'll make sure to get a couple of shots when the room is all made up. I just woke up. But I have to tell you, this panoramic view that you're getting here at this hotel. Let me just put down my stuff real quick. Let's say like that. For a city hotel, once again, they have kind of positioned themselves that they have such a view. The mountain city of Georgia is really something. Okay guys, so we are here on the roof right now of the Pullman Hotel. It's kind of like a little smoking area, but they might as well call it observatorium, because you see the whole city, you just really understand the dimensions. There's actually, I looked it up, over 1 million people living here, and you actually really see it, maybe even looks like more than that. And yeah, it's nice to take my mom out a little bit. I mean, if you have been following my stuff for a while, you know that, you know, life didn't always look like that, but I like it just the way it is. We're growing, we're going to new places. If you're new here by any chance, Got a World to See stands for building a life of freedom around the world. And for a good, let's say 5 years now, I've been living remotely around the world, going to different countries, sometimes staying for a couple of weeks, sometimes a couple of months. And always with the, let's say, yeah, we travel, yeah, we have a good time, yeah, we meet new people, make connections. But even more so, it's a little bit about understanding that, you know, for a lot of us, we're not meant to be in one place. And if you, let's say, leverage geography and understand that there's so much more out there for all your different areas of life, just being out there and finding new places that suit you more, that offer more, that treat people with more, let's say, respect, if you will. I have to tell, Georgia is very interesting, very easy to get in here. Most people can stay here without a visa for even up to 1 year. I even know some people that have moved here from the US, for example. Alright guys, it's time to work out, but first we need, I would say, a workout partner. Yo, yo, yo! It's been a minute. How you doing? Good to see you, man. Guys, probably for the behind the scenes, getting ready for the gym right now with my Indian pre-workout that I have picked up in Mumbai. If you have watched the India series, it's probably in there. Also introducing Mike to the video.
How you doing?
I think in the gym we're gonna chat a bit more. Well, there we go. Gym studio room. So guys, I'm taking you along. I obviously have seen this place before. I got Mike here with me. So you have been living for 2 years now here?
2 years, yep.
So originally from the US, from
Boise, Idaho.
Nice. So basically, come, let me show you the gym, man. So let's say it like that. This place, I have to tell you, it's probably, I'm shy of saying that it's the best hotel gym I've ever been to. But in terms of the setup, kind of like the creativity, the uniqueness of it, it's kind of like a loop that you're making. The main area is over here. Thoughts?
It's pretty sick.
Yeah.
It's a nice gym.
We were just talking, basically some hotels, they kind of like selling memberships for outside members as well. I think this is the case here. And this is when they really invest into their gyms. And yeah, this is basically the Pullman gym. I think they literally have everything. Dumbbells going up to 44. Wow, not every gym has up to 44.
My gym doesn't even go to 40.
No?
It goes to 40.
All right. So basically gonna be doing full upper body right now, get a nice workout in, then after that I'm gonna show you the pool as well. Once again, because it's kind of like open for public, I think for a hotel it's really, really impressive. So full upper body, and then I will take 2 Coke Zero.
So guys, made it up to the roof. This is the weather report rooftop bar. So I've heard it's the tallest or one of the tallest bars in all of Tbilisi, and you really see it. Out of the window, you see the full city. Sun is coming down. Gonna have, I think they're famous for their sushi. Gonna have some nice drinks here, a little bit of calamari, seafood. And yeah, I have to tell you, even if you're just in Tbilisi, that might be probably one of the best spots to kind of like see the whole city skyline. And yeah, at this moment I'm like really happy that I ended up in this neighborhood, because it really allows you to kind of like see the whole city. Back there is a DJ table. Sunday, a bit quiet today, but generally super place.
You might think I'm wrong, but I'm right. Stay getting strong, get tight.
Good morning. Let's stop the copyright music. Oh, what did we do here? Oh. Turn off already. God damn it. 2 axes tower, as we see them right above there. Georgia. So 942. Where is my 942 guy? Basically the Georgian train for you. I almost missed it. Last minute hopped on it. They made me pay double the price, which is quite interesting. So I think a regular ride is like around $12. And here we are leaving Tbilisi. So basically they closed the tickets 10 minutes before departure, they told me. And then you can buy them at the conductor for like, I mean, like 25 bucks, still fine. Otherwise would have like really had to look for like a bus or something today. So heading to Batumi, and honestly it like looks quite a lot like a German train in many ways. Toilets on the side, seating there, I don't know, like everybody looks like likes to take all their stuff with them.
Guys, welcome to the Vegas of the Black Sea. I have to tell you, this place is interesting. So I came here around a month ago to the city of Batumi here in Georgia, and at first I didn't really like it. I have to tell you honestly. Then it warmed up a little bit slowly. I started to understand the city a little bit, started to see how much they're building, started to understand why the things that I didn't like, why they're here, and why potentially in the future this place will be even better. And today I want to take you along a little bit on the first impression of the city, show you the different districts, show you some nice places to stay, be it super nice hotels or as well as apartments. And at the end, give you a little bit of a summary. After 1 month of staying here, how did I like it? The pros and cons of Batumi, Georgia.
Well, we have arrived in Batumi. So I will take you along, guys. This will be the final probably video of Georgia. I think the 4th one at this point. So on that note, if you're new here by any chance, I think this is probably country number 54 or something up and visiting.
Coastal town where I have to tell you, when you just see it for the first time, you're like, wow, what is this architecture? Yes, in a way, maybe a little bit futuristic, a little bit Dubai, maybe Singapore, but at the same time, it's kind of an interesting mix. You feel a lot of, let's say, the post-Soviet vibes here, but generally, it's in many ways a touristy town in the summer, but year-round, I think it's quite an interesting destination. Probably, let's say, the 2nd biggest hotspot in the country of Georgia. So I've been in Tbilisi for a good 10 days, and you know, when the very first time I saw this building with kind of like, so we have this Ferris wheel in the back that's kind of like a little bit of touristy area, there's ships, there's a port, you can take like boat rides. The season is slowly starting out, it's June, but there's also this other Ferris wheel which is in the middle of a building. In front of it is the Radisson Blu Hotel, and when I saw this place I was like, hey, this city looks freaking interesting, I gotta come, I gotta check it out. And this is actually also where I'm staying right now, this hotel back there.
Notice right away when you come into the city, it's just the amount of different really interesting structures that they have built in the city. So this is some type of observatorium, I think. Probably can go up there. And you know, instead of, let's say, just perhaps looking around these buildings and walking around the neighborhood, I was like, why not live in one of them? So a couple of steps away right here from kind of like the main area, the main beach, there is the Radisson Blu Hotel. And it's really interesting in the sense that from one side it looks like a really narrow built building, but from the other side you see that it's actually fairly wide. And I've only checked in yesterday. This is actually where we're staying. I haven't really seen anything much yet. There's also supposed to be a pool, so let me take you to, let's say, the home for the next couple of days. So this is the room at the Radisson Blu. Wow, when I saw this building, I'm like, hey, maybe stay here, but I didn't expect this kind of going to be also like a really nice mix of cozy, while at the same time you're staying in this futuristic style building. And I think they have a Georgian restaurant downstairs and upstairs a rooftop bar, which definitely has to be checked out, maybe both even. So yeah, So guys, we made it up onto the roof. So this is the Umami restaurant here. I think it's on the 19th floor. Definitely, together with this other tower, the two biggest buildings, you get a really nice view. Somewhat similar as in the room, but overall probably one of the best views in town. You really get to see the whole city, and that's what I like to do when I come to a new place. Just kind of like climb up. If it's not a mountain, then at least it's a hotel rooftop. And this place, I think it's mostly Japanese food. Already tried it last night. It's actually really good. This must be the best Asian food I've had in Eastern Europe so far. The tom yum is a bit heavy, but it's really spicy, as it should be. And hot. So we got some nice sushi, some beef. So guys, walked out a little bit. Right in front of, let's say, the home here in Georgia is the Europe Square, and it's a very, very different vibe. On one side, yes. Okay, so there's some Ukrainian guys pumping music. They're basically setting the mood here, but yeah, right now it's during the week, so not that many people out. But overall, the vibe is really interesting because you have kind of like these old houses, they decorated them. Then you have this like, I don't know, some like Harry Potter looking tower, but all of it is kind of still done in a classy way, especially like this building back there. But then still you have peeking out these like hyper, I don't know, like brutalist, futuristic, I would call it personally. But yeah, super nice square. Unfortunately got a bit cloudy. I think on another day gonna stop by again, but taking you today as well on the first impression as well. So I cannot promise you that the music is gonna be here. She might be here. They have a lot of street dogs, and for some reason they're like super friendly. They're almost like cats in Istanbul, a lot of them, and honestly they look better than most people's pets. No offense, but it is what it is. All right, get going. See you later. Oh, his leg is hurt. Rainy, I would say let's go for a little bit of an old town walk. Modern hotel, you get out of it, you have these skyscrapers, but then literally a couple of side streets in, you are in this old city, and it's like really interesting. It's not, you know, the thing is like there's some, let's say, post-Soviet big buildings, some neighborhoods like that, but also these like really cute neighborhoods where yes, there's some people living here, but also a lot of different little restaurants, little cafes. So gonna walk around a little bit here, soak up the vibes on a Tuesday afternoon. So I think well guys, who would have thought? After all, a couple of weeks in Batumi, you see the backdrop, we're basically in Dubai, let's say it like that. It warmed up nicely, and this is the beach when the season begins. A lot of people, I would say, also coming for vacation here. Like really the city filled up like crazy. Just like recording this a little bit for you a couple of weeks later. Really lived myself into it here, you could say. So as you see, very different vibe when the people are out here, but also the city feels quite a bit better because it's fairly large. It doesn't even feel like that touristy. But yeah, let's hop into the water here. One thing I do have to tell you, it's pretty freaking cold. What is it right now? End of June, early July. It's cold in a sense of just right to cool you down nicely, get a little bit of hard nipple action going. Whew. And yeah, lots of families, lots of kids, and I am getting huge throwbacks right now. Throwbacks of like 20 years ago in Ukraine, going to places like Kirilovka or like some like, you know, like seas, Black Seas, and it's interesting. It's really interesting to, you know, have like a lot of different lives that you have lived at some point, and then just kind of like your brain is storing something somewhere. You know, just the people, the way they dress, the way, even the noise that the kids are making. Woo! The best swimmer in town.
A little bit about the structure of the city here. So basically, in many ways, it's purely brand new. You still see the old, you see the little side streets of, let's say, a certain post-Soviet vibe, or sometimes reminds me a lot of Ukraine, maybe of Odessa. But then you have these brand new skyscrapers all over here. This is a Hilton. This is probably the biggest Marriott building that I have ever seen in my life. They have not opened yet. So basically in the front is Old Batumi. Some charming, some fairly authentic streets that you might have seen already on the colder days. And pretty much the city is fairly walkable. We're here on the beach promenade, and you can walk pretty much from the old town into New Batumi in like 25 minutes basically. If you keep walking, there's going to be another district. I've stayed in all three. In the middle there's a fairly large greenery park, and I have to tell you, on a warm day this area here is an absolute charm to walk around, get a nice tan. And guys, we're by the beach obviously, so it's not like, let's say, a blue sand Maldives Philippines style beach. It's not even quite Bali with dark sand. It's a rocky one. It's a rocky beach, but yet still the water is actually fairly pleasant. So I would say it does invite you, especially on a hot day, to hang by the beach. I'd say a lot of Eastern European people here, they're really enjoying themselves. And I have to tell you one thing, because of the very many districts, the modern one in the back, let's be honest, it's really not finished yet. The infrastructure is terrible. You can barely walk on the road. There's barely any sidewalk. Sometimes, you know, like there's not like a red green light where you could be crossing the street, but you see that they're building. You see that in the next couple of years it is probably gonna be looking quite cool, and it's moving fast. Like maybe not Dubai fast, but there's like this one building I'm looking next to the Sheraton. By the way, the Sheraton Sky Bar, fantastic view, absolutely love it. And with every week it kind of like changes a little bit. I've only been here for a couple of weeks, but pretty much half of the building seems to be almost finished. Like I said, the coating on the outside. So I really like to kind of like see and be in a city when it's happening, when it's developing. So basically the three different districts is Old Batumi in the very front, where also the Radisson Blu Hotel is, this other funky building. And then you have New Batumi in the middle with some skyscrapers, some apartments that I've rented over there. And in the very back, it's kind of like, again, new developments, a lot of new skyscrapers. And this is pretty much what makes Batumi. To give you an idea, to understand it, this is how it is. Okay guys, another thing, let's talk about apartments in Batumi. If you want to stay for a couple of weeks, maybe even months, I think Batumi is an interesting place. During the season, it's probably going to be very busy. Right now, early, like late June, it's getting warmer, people are coming in. There's many apartment buildings. First of all, the amounts of constructions is crazy. I'm right now in the New Batumi part. Somehow I forgot to film the apartments that I stayed at over the last 2 weeks. On Instagram, I've captured it a little bit, little room tours. Make sure you can check it out there if you want. But yeah, let's say starting from like $30, $35 going to $50, $60 a night, you can get a pretty nice studio, beach view. Personally, there's the Orbi Towers. I think the most famous one, the most, let's say, popular one, huge towers. I've had a nice corner unit and I loved it, but it's really busy, lots of tourism. A little bit further back here in New Batumi, in the beach tower I stayed the last couple of days. Nice apartment, like one bedroom, kind of like a little bit bigger, around $50 a night. So let's say like that, in terms of beach view, in terms of a nice condo, really good value, but at the same time, a little bit of a touristy vibe depending on the building. The most popular ones you see on Airbnb, depends. For a couple of days is nice, but like the elevators are overloaded and things like that. But I have to tell you, just the view up here, this is the cafe on top of the Orbi Beach Tower. It's quite a vibe, and just considering how many freaking constructions there are everywhere, it makes you really think how Batumi is gonna look 3-4 years from now, maybe 2 even already. So yeah, take a walk and discover a little bit of different side. Okay guys, so let's wrap it up a little bit. Let's say first impression and a bit of an impression of a couple of weeks of living in Batumi. Let me tell it to you like that. Having the beach is a big bonus. Having the modern district is kind of cool. It makes it unique. So much unique architecture. Seeing it in Georgia, absolutely love it. Outside of the season, there's probably not that much to do. When I first arrived, it has been still fairly quiet, but now it's honestly a bit too busy. The prices are also up quite a lot. When I first got here, you can get apartments 20-30 bucks a night. Right now, same ones are at like 50-60. And I have to tell you one thing, not like a lot of, let's say, work-friendly cafes, a few, but just because of how unique the city is, of having the beach right here. I absolutely loved my mornings. Pretty good Wi-Fi speed, pretty decent living options. Mostly it's kind of like studio apartments for the most part, but I have to say, I could see myself coming back here, especially considering of how much the city is still developing and probably is going to be much more functional and much more livable within maybe just a year or 2. So from a perspective of travel, I think it's interesting. From a perspective of making it a base for a couple of weeks or even a couple of months, I think in certain seasons, maybe not peak high season July, but maybe a little bit when it's still warmer, I would say it's great. In the winters, my guess is probably that there's not that much to do out here. But I have to say, at first, I didn't like it that much. It has been a bit dead. The weather wasn't on my side. And then with time, it warmed up. I found some nice cafes, generally in the hotels. Whenever you go to their rooftop bars, be it for coffee, be it for a meal, you get absolutely mind-blowing views. And this has been a little bit, let's say, my routine. Some nice beach workouts, hitting the gym, having a nice place to stay, enjoying the beach. And in terms of prices, I would say it's not Southeast Asia cheap. It's maybe a little bit more expensive than Turkey next door, but still, for what you get, I think the value is pretty good. From the condos that I have mentioned previously before, yes, somewhere starting 30 to 50 bucks a night. Is it like Bali prices? It's not, but you are in a fairly modern, let's say, city by the Black Sea. And I think within the next 2-3 years, I might have an impulse to come back just to see and check it out how it develops. Generally, Georgia is an interesting place. They have visa free for 1 year for many nations. All European Western passports pretty much can get it, and many more. And yeah, generally, if you're new here by any chance, on the channel I talk about building a life of freedom around the world. So for the past 5 years, I've been traveling, or even more so living in different countries, and yeah, kind of like sharing my day-to-day, sharing my impressions. I'm still here for another week. There's a few more things I would maybe want to share with you, so let me know if you would like to see another video from Batumi. With that, I am checking out from the beach promenade. And you too? Got a roll to see. He's burning. And in the back, people are enjoying themselves. You see that? Oh my God! Wow. Yeah, just a little boat exploded.
Она взорвется сейчас.
Dead ass. Maybe it's gonna explode.
Я думаю, да. Смотри.